Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Alright, so today I'm taking a look at the limited edition Thrunite T1 in Desert Tan. Can you guys see it? It's super little. You can see it? Alright, let's check it out. Alright, so the Thrunite T1 arrived to me in this tiny little box. Really nothing else around the box that's of interest, so let's just open it up, and there it is, the Thrunite T1 in limited edition Desert Tan. Let me take this bad boy out and empty the contents out, and I'll let you guys see what's all in here. So first we have a micro USB charging cable. Inside this tiny little bag here, looks like we have our standard lanyard. Also in that bag we have a couple little replacement rubber O-rings, and it looks like a replacement rubber cap for the USB charging port. Let me put all this to the side so we can check out the T1. Alright, so here it is, the Thrunite T1 in limited edition Desert Tan. And I love Desert Tan flashlights. Yes, most of my flashlights are black, but I love when companies come out with different colors like OD Green, Desert Tan. I just love it. And that's basically the only thing new is the color on this flashlight. This isn't a new model, it's just a new color variant. But I've never checked out the Thrunite T1 before, so this is actually the first time I got to check it out. And as you guys can tell, this guy is tiny, but what makes this little guy so special? Well, it kicks out about 1500 lumens and has a throw of about 102 meters. That's right, all that in this tiny little body. How tiny is it? Well, let's talk dimensions. The Thrunite T1 has a length of 2.736 inches, has a bezel diameter of 1.043 inches, and has a body diameter of 0.866 inches. They also say it weighs 71.5 grams with the battery, so let's test that out. All right, so tear it out and drop it on the scale. All right, so I'm getting a reading of 70 grams. So the website says 71.5. My scale is saying 70. And if I click that over to ounces, that's 2.4 ounces. So regardless, this thing is just super lightweight, even with the battery in it. So let me get in a little closer so you guys can check out this body here. So check out these little ridges here. So even though it's real small, these ridges provide some grip to the body. And yes, it is very small. I mean, I don't have the biggest hands in the world, and look, my hands just swallow this thing up. So right here at the end of the flashlight, we have our lanyard hole. And obviously you can see it has a nice black pocket clip that's actually pretty sturdy. Right here we have our rubber cap that hides our micro USB port. Then flip it around to the other side. This is where we have our side switch. This is how we turn the light on and off and switch through our modes. Then I'll give you guys a nice look at that LED. That's a Cree XHP 50. All right, so let's open this bad boy up and take a look at that battery. So this is an 1100 milliamp 3.7 volt 18350 rechargeable battery. So this thing is super tiny, obviously. So let's make sure it gets back in the right way, positive, facing the lens. Now I love little flashlights like this. I've been carrying the Olight S1R Baton 2 for a while. I love this little light. It's actually one of my favorite releases from Olight, so I'm very familiar with this little form factor. For me, it's a perfect EDC size. You put it in your little coin pocket and don't even know it's there. And just like that Olight, the Thrunite T1 has a magnetic tail cap, except unlike the Olight, you can't charge to the tail cap. It's just magnetic back here. So if you want to mount this to any metal surface, you know, maybe like your knife, you just slap it on there and then boom. No guys, I don't actually mount my flashlight to my knife. It's just the closest thing that I can reach for. All right, let's talk about this side switch here. So when we're charging, it'll show red, and when it's fully charged, it'll glow blue. Also, it's a battery life indicator. So when the battery is at 21 to 100%, it'll show blue. From 11% to 20%, it'll show red, and between 1 and 10%, it'll flash red. All right, so let's get into these modes. All you have to do is single press that side switch once, and it turns it right on, and you can see it's glowing blue there. And if you want to turn it off, it's also a single press. All right, so this is where it was a surprise for me because I'm not used to this type of UI on a flashlight. It has this stepless dimming feature where it doesn't go from the traditional low, medium, high. Basically how it works is when you press that side button to turn it on, hold it down again, and it's gonna ramp up and down. And when it gets to the lowest level, it flashes. When it gets to the highest level, it's gonna flash again, so you know exactly when to let it go. So I'm gonna let it go right at the highest level. Once it flashes, boom, and there we go, that's our high. Press it again, hold it down, I'm gonna get to our lowest level. Lowest level, that's not Firefly, I mean, there we go. And then say, for example, I want medium. There is no exact medium, it's just exactly where I think it's gonna be, which it might be right there. So there's our medium. So there's no exact other than low and high. If you want a medium, just have to guess. So I didn't like this at first, but playing with it, I got used to it because there's so many more brightness levels when there's a ramp like this rather than just high, medium, and low. And it also has a memory function. So say for example, I like it on this exact brightness setting. If I turn it off, turn it back on, it's exactly where I left it. Turn it back up, I like that brightness level, turn it off, boom, just remembers. Also, if I go too far one way, so right now it's going down, I went too far, I just let it go and it goes instantly right back up. Let go, instantly right back down. So you can see it's actually not a bad UI. Also, that low mode isn't the lowest. It does have a Firefly mode, and it does have an instant access to Firefly. So what you want to do while the flashlight's off, press and hold that side switch down, and then there you go, goes right to Firefly. Also, it has an instant access to turbo, so double press while off, there you go. 1500 lumen turbo. Also has an instant access to strobe, so turn it off, triple press, strobe. Now let's talk about the output and run times here. So Firefly is 1 lumen, that'll last for 14 days. Now in its lowest setting, that's 15 lumens, that'll last for 36 hours. On the high setting, that's 685 lumens, that'll last for 80 minutes. And on turbo, that's our max 1500 lumens, that'll last for 3 minutes. After that 3 minutes, it'll step down to 408 lumens, and that'll last for 80 minutes. And then that strobe at 700 lumens, that'll last for 120 minutes. So as you can see, that 1500 lumens is pretty bright. Like I said earlier, it's 102 meters max throw, and the peak beam intensity is 2600 candela. So for this little body, this thing kicks out. So before I get into the heat and water test, let me round out the specs here. It's also IPX8 waterproof, and it has an impact resistance of 1 meter. So now all that's out of the way, let's get into the heat test. All right, so it says it has a step down after 3 minutes. So what I wanna do is time this on turbo for 3 minutes. Then after 3 minutes, I'm gonna take the temperature at the head with my infrared thermometer and see just how hot this thing gets. Let's click it on turbo, 2, and go. All right, see you guys in 3 minutes. All right, that's been 3 minutes, so let me take the temperature right there at the head. And it's showing 111.2. So just for the heck of it, I'm gonna try the body, and that's showing me 103.8. Yeah, it's definitely warm, but I'm able to touch it with my bare fingers and not burn myself, but it's getting to that point where you almost can't touch it. Also, I put this box here just so I can see the step down. I didn't see the step down, but it's kind of hard while I'm sitting here staring at it, and then I walked away for a few minutes. I'm gonna have to rewatch the footage and see where that step down was, or if at all. All right, so now that we know how hot it gets after 3 minutes, let's drop us in some water. All right, guys, the T1 is rated IPX8, meaning it is submersible up to 2 meters indefinitely. So this is about 7 inches of water, so it should be able to handle that no problem. So let me turn it on so we can see it and just drop it in. All right, I'll let it run there for a few minutes. All right, that's been about 30 seconds, not 2 minutes, but being IPX8, I had no doubt it's gonna survive 7 inches of water. So while I have the water here, another test I've been trying lately to see if it still works if the USB flap is open. So this is a pretty risky test because if it burns out while I drop it in here with the flap open, then I can't show you anything in my backyard. But I'm gonna take my chances. Let's turn it on. USB flap is open and drop it in. All right, guys, it's been about 20 seconds, and as you can see, it still works. There you go. The flap is still open, and yeah, still works. So that is pretty awesome. IPX8 rated, and yes, it's still waterproof if the flap just so happens to be open. All right, so the next test as I dry this off is to take this out to my backyard and give you guys an idea what the beam looks like. And just to show you how bright it is in my pitch black backyard. But I'm also gonna compare it to, that's right, the Olight S1R Baton 2. As you can see, very similar in size. The Olight is just a little smaller. The T1 is 1500 lumens, has a 102 meter throw, and has 2600 candela, versus the Olight S1R Baton 2 has 1000 lumens, has a max throw of 145, and has 5250 candela. All right, that's enough numbers. Let's take these out to my backyard. So as you guys can see, to my eyes, it looked like the Olight was slightly brighter than the T1. And this has 500 more lumens than the little S1R Baton 2, but this is 5250 candela versus 2600 candela. So with that kind of difference in candela, you know the light intensity is gonna be much brighter on the Olight. The Olight had more of a tighter, brighter hotspot, as the T1 had more of a spread out floodlight feel to it. I mean, as flooded out as this tiny little reflector is gonna get you, but definitely more flooded out compared to the Olight. But the Olight's also $20 more expensive. The S1R2 was $64.99 as opposed to $45.95 for the Thrunite T1 in Desert Tan. So you might be losing a little light intensity, but you get to save about 20 bucks going this route. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think of the Thrunite T1 in Desert Tan? Like I said, this is my very first time checking out the T1, and as small lights go, I'm a fan. Yes, granted, the S1R Baton 2 was a little bit brighter in its hotspot, but for a light this size and its small form factor being about 46 bucks, it's a steal. So in my rating overall, I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5. It really has a lot going for it. There's just a few things that I would tweak here and there. Maybe the next round, give us a USB Type-C, or utilize this back magnetic cap as a charging port, and maybe try to tighten up that beam a little bit more, get some more intensity out of it. But other than that, I think it's a great little light, especially at 46 bucks. Now, if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I will have links below in my description box. No, they are not affiliate links. Thrunite is not paying me to do this review, but they did send this over to me to check out, and all they wanted was a fair and honest review. Hopefully I gave that to them. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe, and go!